Erev Tov, good evening. Baruch haba, we welcome you. Shalom. Hello. And we're doing this is our grammar class, Advanced Hebrew. And let me get my stuff up here. We started last week on pronomial suffixes. So just as a reminder, do you remember pronomial? This is where we pronoun. Nom means name. Pronoun. So a pronomial is a pronoun. Pronomial because of the ideal, because it's attached to this noun, suffixes. So this is actually an adjective. What kind of suffixes? Pronomial suffixes. In other words, pronouns that are suffixes. A suffix comes where? At the end of the word. Okay? So the suffix comes at the end of the word. So in Hebrew, when we use pronomial suffixes, these are used to show ownership. Or we would say possessive pronouns. Okay, so possessive pronouns showing ownership. So these would be the words like mine, ours, yours, theirs, or his or hers. So my this, our this, your this, male and female. And remember that they're for the first person. It is the same masculine and feminine. For the second person, there's a change. There's a difference between the masculine and the feminine. For the third person, there is a change. There's a difference between the masculine and feminine. Okay, so the suffix comes at the end of the or at the end of the noun. So we have a noun here, and the way that the pronomial works. If you remember back when we were studying the nouns, and we were studying the noun construct chain. How many of you remember that? The noun construct chain. Wasn't that long ago. It was only like 3 months ago. Okay, so the noun construct chain. And the noun construct chain was used to show the preposition of. So you have a noun and you have a noun. And so this is called a noun construct chain because the first noun would be in what was called the abstract, which is the normal form, the way it would be used. And then the second noun would be in what was called construct. Construct because the form would change, particularly with the vowels. Okay, so construct as in under construction, meaning it's going to change. It's going to be different. So I have an A word up here for you in its abstract form and in its construct form. Construct telling you what? It's going to change. So you see that the consonants are the same. The consonants are maintained. What changes? The vowels, the nikud. All right. So the vowels change, but the consonants stay the same. So this is in construct form because it has changed. This is the abstract form. This is firm. It's set. Okay. And this is the construct. This is changed now. And it's changing for a reason which we're going to show you. Is everybody with me? Yes. Or is there any confusion here? Everybody understand what we're doing? Okay? Because if you don't understand what we're doing, then there's no point in going on. So that's why I'm asking. If you have a question, let me know. Okay? Alright. So, now you have to figure out what that word is. What is this word here? Close. Bayit.
Oh, because it's not under the...
Yeet. Yes. Bayit. Okay? So this is bayit. Everyone say bayit.
Bayit.
Bayit. Okay, give it to me.
Bait. A. U.
Okay, so be careful because that's the mistake you're making, trying to connect the yud, but what? There's a vowel under the yud. So the vowel is a consonant standing on its own.
U. I.
So there you see it. Ba, yit. Bayit. Everyone say bayit.
Bayit.
And bayit means that is the proper term. That is the abstract term, bayit. So when we go to beit, that's this. As in Beit Hamikdash, the house of meeting. Okay, so you have the house of. So, all right. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Yes. Do what? Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, before we go any further, this word here. I forgot. I was going to start with that word here. We'll come back to all of this in just a second, but this word here. So say it. What is it? Taxi. So give it to me.
A. Very short. I.
So everyone say taxi,
Taxi.
which is exactly. That's how you say taxi in Hebrew.
No way.
Don't call me wait. Yes. You're not showing proper respect to your teacher. Taxi. This is truth.
It's true.
Okay. The reason why I wanted to give you this is taxi. This is if you're hailing a taxi in Hebrew, that's what you do. Taxi. And this is the way you spell it. Why? There's no X in Hebrew. There's no letter X. Remember, you only have 22 letters. Okay? So you have to use the kuf and the summit. Taxi.
In
Yes.
Spanish too, you'd say.
In almost every language. It's hang on just a second.
She might be not a teacher.
Now there's a reason why I'm showing you that. The actual term is monit. Monit. Yes. It's kind of like an airplane taxiing on the runway. But see that the word monit applies to an airplane taxiing. It applies to a ferry. It's called a monit. So anything like that that is moving people from one place to another would be considered monit. So to differentiate a cab would be called taxi. Taxi. Now the reason why I'm showing you this is I've told you that there are differences between biblical Hebrew and modern Hebrew because you have a lot of terms to deal with in modern almost said modern America. No, in modern Israel that that they didn't have to deal with back then.
So a lot of the words are actually like English words, just with their, like coffee is coffee.
Yes, because they didn't have coffee back then. Coffee was discovered where? It was
South America.
Yes, in South America, Central and South America. Coffee comes from this continent. So it was after Columbus. Well, the natives had it here, but it was after Columbus that it spread to the rest of the world. So you have situations like that. Bus in Hebrew. Bus in Hebrew. Autobus. Just like Espanol. Autobus. Yes. So you have things like that where they had to make up words, basically. how do you, things like refrigerators and microwave ovens and things like that. They didn't have back in biblical days. So you have situations like that, as I explained to you in the construct chain, because you're showing of, the preposition of. In biblical Hebrew, there is no preposition of. So you simply have the two nouns side by side, and it just meant this pertaining to this of this, this of this. Okay? In modern Hebrew, because most Israelis are of European descent, they're Ashkenaz, Sephardic, maybe from Spain or whatever, from America, from especially World War II, and that era, so they're used to the Western languages, and so what? Western languages have the preposition of. So it complicated things for them. So they came up with the word shel, which is the preposition of in modern Hebrew. So shel, S-H-E-L, shel. So ner shel Shabbat, the candle of Torah, okay, or the candle of Shabbat. So you have, here you have a modern phrase. Now you have it in your bracha, in your Sabbath blessing, right? When you're lighting the candles, and so you have this term in your Sabbath blessing. So you have the word shel. But it's important to understand, and that's why I wanted you to see this, because when you're trying to read modern Hebrew, it's not going to read exactly like Bible Hebrew. So if you go like I did, we were at Barnes & Noble over the weekend, right? And so I bought a nice big large Hebrew dictionary, and I bought a work study book. Now the problem is I can't give you pages out of the work study book because it's got a lot of modern Hebrew terms in it that don't apply to anything that we're dealing with here. So but I wanted to show you how different it would be. It would be tantamount to trying to speak King James English today, or trying to speak modern English in the days of Shakespeare. It's not going to work exactly. Okay, can you understand things? Yes, but with difficulty. And the same thing's true between the two Hebrews.
It's like having to listen to an Aussie.
Huh? Having to listen what?
To an Aussie, to an Australian.
To an Australian.
You hear the videos, they're speaking English.
Yes.
You just can't understand half the stuff they're saying.
Well, or even from England.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is their accent, but they speak mostly a more proper English than what we do. We basically butcher it up. All right, back to this. So back to the suffixes. All right, so you have your suffixes in front of you. So this is the abstract, this is the firm, this is the construct, this is the chain. This is the change. So you see that the change is in the vowel. So the way you would do a pronomial suffix is you're going to add the suffix to the construct. You're going to add the suffix to the construct. So first person possessive is what?
E.
Remember, it is this. This is your first person possessive, saying mine. Okay, this is mine. E. E. So, how would I say? I say bagit, meaning house. I would say I'd move it to the construct. For possessive, I move it to the construct and I say beiti. Everyone say beiti. You see? Huh? Give it to me. Beit. E-I. It's connected now. See, now here you have different, because now there's no vowel under here. Okay, so this connects be, and now you have
I connected to the U.
Beiti. Everyone?
Beiti.
Beiti.
And Beiti means my house. Beiti. So, Bo Beiti.
Go to my house.
Go to my house.
Or come to my house.
Come or go, as you please. Beiti, Beitcha. Beiti, Beitcha.
Beiti, Beitcha.
Beiti, Beitcha.
Beitcha.
Yes. You have Beiti, right? Which means what?
My house is a house. Beiti, my house.
Beiti, Beitcha.
My house, our house. Your house.
Good. My house is your house. Beiti, Beitcha. Beitcha. Beiti, Beitcha. My house is your house. Okay? Except what? I'm talking to Joey here. I'm not talking to Nora.
Sir,
This is masculine, second person, possessive.
There's only a man inviting you to the house.
Good. If I say this, then yes. I'm talking to a man.
There's right.
but it would work even if it was both of us because it's plural and all that it defaults to men,
No.
isn't it?
Not in these cases, and I'll show you. If I'm talking to two people, more than there's a pluralization that takes place. Now you're getting into a whole new realm because we were basically talking singular, right? So now we're talking singular possessive. Beiti, Beitcha. Everyone say Beiti, Beitcha.
Beitcha.
Okay, so give it to me. You have this, this. Now what? Beitcha. So when you have this, watch, when you have this at the ending of a noun, this is possessive. So you have Toratecha. Torah, which is
Torah.
Techa. Your
Torah.
Elohecha.
Your God.
Elohim, Come on.
Elohim.
Elohim, so Elohecha,
Your God.
your God. So whenever you have this is second person possessive. So when we say the Avtacha, you shall love. Adonai Elohecha. You shall love the Lord your God. Now, he's speaking here in what form? He says, Achavta Adonai Elohecha. Achavta, and you shall love Adonai, the Lord, Elohecha.
Your God.
So he's talking in what? Elohecha.
Masculine, second.
Masculine, singular.
Possessive. Masculine, singular, possessive. Why? Because to whom is he speaking this? So he's speaking singular, he's speaking to one person or multiple people? Then why does he say Elohecha?
There's a lot of people who wonder. He's talking to all of us about himself. We're all one chosen people.
That's part of it, yes. Because everyone has a single unit. Everyone, but to each person individually. In other words, Torah is applicable to everybody, but Torah is applicable to you. So oftentimes, God speaks to the children of Israel as a single person. You'll remember a few weeks ago when we were studying Exodus chapter 19. And the Hebrew says that the people, the English translation is that the people saw, that the people experienced, that the people saw these things happening. But the Hebrew literally says that he saw it happen. That it was because the rabbis say the reason why, it goes into the singular here, it's a plural first and then the singular, and the rabbis say the reason is because it applies to everybody, but each one is an individual. Does this make sense to you? In effect, that all of us are to act as one person, as one man. So Rav Shaul speaks to this, that we are one body. Are you with me? We are one body. We are different parts. But how many bodies? One body. And so the idea, the teaching here is that we're to be acting as a cohesive unit. That we're to be working in unison together. This is the whole idea of echad, of unity. Okay? Kinematov, umanaim. How does it go? Gam yachad, who dwell together in union, in unity. Now, this unity, what does this unity mean? It does not mean that you absolutely agree with everything with me. And it does not mean that I agree absolutely with everything with you. It means we are working together for a common reason, for a common goal. So let me give you an example. Your body. Your body is all working together as a cohesive unit. Correct?
Correct.
So when I go to write on the board, what? My brain sends signals. But look at everything that's taking place. Look at all the signals that have to go out. Because in order to write on the board, I have to pick up the marker. Right? So what's going on? The thought process is going on. My eyes go to the marker. Right? My eyes are showing my hand where the marker is. I'm looking where the marker is. Then what? All of these muscles must contract and expand in order for me to move my arm. And now my arm is in movement and my fingers are in movement, and look at that. And well, what else is taking place? Not only all of that, and all of the nerves going down my spine are all in play. All of the nerves throughout my body are all in play. My heart is in play, my lungs are in play, blood is moving through, oxygen is moving through, energy for the cells to move, for the muscles to contract and expand. All of this is taking place at once. Does everybody see that? This is the way the body is supposed to work. This is the way the body is supposed to work. It does not mean that the fingers are doing what the eye is doing. It does not mean that the eye is doing what the heart is doing. That the heart is doing what the lungs are doing. That the lungs are doing what the nerves are doing. That the nerves are doing what the muscles are doing. They're all doing different things. But they're all working together as a cohesive unit in order for me to pick up the marker so I can write on the board. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
So, this morning, I got up, got out of bed. When I got out of bed, my shoes were up against a cabinet. And as I was getting out of bed, I punched my toe into my shoe. Now, Was my body in complete agreement with what I did with my toe? Did my body appreciate what I did with my toe? No. In fact, my toe screamed out in anguish. In fact, my toe was upset with the rest of the body, right? When your toe is upset with the rest of the body, you call that what? Pain. So my toe screamed out in pain. Now, were my fingers hurting? My hand? My ears? My eyes? They watered, but it was sympathetic. My eyes were showing sympathy to my toe. My nose showed sympathy, right? Because when you start watering your eyes and your nose starts running, right? And my lungs and my heart started beating a little faster. Maybe that's why my sugar spiked. So it's all acting. Now, you see what I'm saying? The same thing is true in the body. People are going to get hurt. A person is going to hurt. Going to suffer pain or anguish or what happens, whatever, disappointment. And that person who's hurt, who's suffering pain, disappointment, anguish, turmoil, whatever, are they going to necessarily appreciate the rest of the body?
No.
No. But what does the rest of the body do? Well, you see, when I stubbed my toe this morning, my body started rushing adrenaline and different hormones, right? The nerves were reacting. The blood went into action, right? Taking things to help heal the cells, oxygen and everything that the cells need to heal and all of that kind of stuff. All right? By the way, my toe's fine. Thank you for asking. But anyway, now I'm hurt. I'm offended at the rest of you. But what? The body shows sympathy to the hurt member, correct?
Yes.
This is the way we're to be acting with one another.
That's the way it should be.
This is the way it should be. That you understand this person over here is hurting. This person over here is distressed. This person over here is whatever. And so your action to that person, rather than being hostile, what do? Cut off your toe? Because you jammed it up against the wall, or you stubbed it in the middle of the night, you cut it off, you may think about it. Right? Do you do it? No. In fact, most of us know we don't even think about it. Most of us what? What do you do when you stub your toe? You pick your foot up, you dance around, and you hold your toe. You sit down, and when you're like small, you put it in your mouth or whatever. Right? Just okay. You ever do that with your toe? How about when you cut your finger? You ever? Why? Okay, so what am I saying? Not only is there sympathy, but what? You hold it close to you. What do we do when people are hurting? Push them away, shove them away, cut them off? No, we hold them close to us. Why? They're part of the body. This is the unity. This is Yachad. Hine matov umanaim. That we are echad, that we are in union, in unity with one another. Therefore, we are sympathetic, and this is what Rav Shalom means. Paul says when a member is weeping, we weep with those, we mourn with those who mourn, we weep with those who weep, and we rejoice with those who are. Now, so if you're feeling good about something, what? Huh?
Sure.
If you're feeling good, you're having a good experience or whatever, one part of your body is really, you're you're sitting down, like Abby's doing right now with Cheetos, and she's getting ready to enjoy those Cheetos. She's going to pop it in her mouth. Can I tell you that it's not only, it's carrots. Sorry, it looks like Cheetos from here. I think it's Cheetos pretending to be carrots. it's Cheetos pretending to be carrots. So she's getting ready to eat. What? What happens in her mouth? Salivating. Her nostrils start what? Flaring because of the odor, the smell. You're smelling something good food. How many of you go by? I remember when Rainbow Bakery used to be over here. And you go by and you can smell the bread. And sometimes when you go by the high school, you can smell them cooking the rolls for lunch. You go by Golden Corral and you can smell it. You go by the barbecue place and you can smell. And what happens? Your mouth starts salivating. Your nostrils flare as you take in the odor and your stomach starts growling. Why? Sympathetic, but not in a sad way, now in a happy way. In a rejoicing way. Okay? So you see how this works. All right. So, saying all of this, if I'm speaking to a female, then it's going to be this. What is it? I'm sorry. Bete. So now you are in female, second person plural. Bete. Everyone say bete.
Bete.
So put that down. So, everybody got it? Bete. Go to this. Notice you're seeing a pattern here. Beto. 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 Huh? His house. Very good. So this is third person, masculine, singular, possessive.
That's how you can remember it from now on. Beto in his house.
So, yes.
So, third person, masculine, singular, possessive, that would be his.
Yes, correct.
And then if it were female, that would be hers. What about its?
There is no it's in Hebrew. Everything is either masculine or feminine. There is no neutral. Yes. So it's like Spanish. Spanish, everything is either masculine or feminine. So in Hebrew, it's the same. The difference in Hebrew is that where in Spanish, there is some of it, but not so much in Hebrew. However, the noun is, everything else must follow. So the verb's going to follow, everything's going to follow. So if it's masculine, everything has to be masculine. If it's feminine, everything has to be feminine. Now, in Spanish, the adjectives have to follow. Right? The adjectives have to follow. So, casa blanca. Okay? So, casa, house. And this tells me that it's what? The A tells me it's feminine. So, the adjective blanca, white, must also be
You could have the article la casa blanca. That also helps too.
What is that?
The article la also indicates the feminine gender.
Yes, correct. And now in Hebrew you don't have it. In Hebrew, the definite article is simply ha. It looks like this or like this, either vowel. But it's ha, and it's a prefix, and that is the definite article vowel. In Hebrew, there is no indefinite article. So if I wanted to say a house in Spanish, I would say una casa blanca. If I'm saying definite article, la casa blanca, the White House. Una casa blanca, a White House. In Hebrew, there's only the definite article. There is no indefinite article. So the noun will simply appear, as in bayit. If I wanted to say the house, I would say beit. Habeit. Habeit. Okay? And that means the house. If it doesn't have this on there, it is understood in English as an indefinite article. But there is no written indefinite article or spoken indefinite article in Hebrew. There is no a or an.
But in transliteration, you would just suppose or just add it?
If in transliteration, I would say habeit. That's a transliteration. Beit, bayit. This is a transliteration. Translation, yes, I would. This is why, for example, in Hebrew there is no verb to be in normal conversation. Okay, because in Hebrew thought, the verb to be has to do with eternality.
Infinitive.
Yes. So there's no verb to be. So when I said Beti Beitcha, to join, right? So the way I would do that, Beti Beitcha, my house is your house. So I would do it like this: my house is your house. Okay? In your Bible, the way this is done is the words that don't appear are put in italics. They're italicized. So when you look in your English Bible, modern ones, a lot of times leave them out, I guess, but particularly the older versions, the King James, New King James, the older NIVs, the older American Standard Version, those things, the ESV, this word would be italicized. It's there, but it's italicized.
If I may.
Yes.
What Bible version, English version, do you prefer in reading the Hebrew or the Old Testament? For the Old Testament. King James version.
I probably, as far as the Christian Bible, would be the English Standard Version. The English Standard Version is more accurate to the Hebrew than the King James. The King James is a more flowing, where the English Standard Version is a little more choppy because it's following the Hebrew more accurately. So the one that I use is called the one I use most frequently is called Tree of Life, TLG. Because this is the one probably the most Messianic congregations use, the Tree of Life version. There's another one. There's another Messianic called the Complete Jewish Bible. And these two are Messianic. And the difference is these actually leave some of the words or names and things like that in the Hebrew transliteration form. But as far as I use the King James, the New King James, but this one especially, the ESV. And what is the difference? These are more accurate to the Hebrew text. This is the most accurate to the Hebrew text. The difference is the thought process between Bible's translations. What makes a translation? Why the different translations? Well, you have a group of translation, for example, the NIV. What the NIV does, the New International Version, what the NIV does, and the complete Jewish Bible follows this tact, is they take the passage and they translate the idea. Where the ESV and the King James and such as that, it's actually more, they take the word, each word, and they're translating that. So the NIV is like the whole idea of the verse, or the whole idea of the passage, and that's what's translated. And this is why when you're reading the NIV and you compare it to King James or you compare it to the ESV, the wording is not. If you look at the ESV and you look at the King James or the New King James, the wording is going to be fairly similar. But if you look at the NIV and you compare it, the wording is not going to be so similar. And the difference is because they're not translating the words, they're translating the thoughts. Is everybody with me? Yes. So you take the thought and you translate it into English or into Spanish or whatever. Where these, they actually take the words and translate that. Okay? And so like I said, with King James versions, they try to make it more flowing, where the ESV, it's not that it's not flowing, they do use good English grammar in it, but it's not going to read like, if you're reading the Psalms, you know, the King James is very flowery, very flowing in the Psalms and things like that. The ESV is not going to be so flowing. Okay? Everybody understand?
Yes.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. So, Beito, Beiti is, this is your, Beiti is my house, Beitcha is your house, masculine, Beitek is your house, feminine, Beito is his house. So, one more course. So this, those of you who have been here, this should be familiar to you.
Feminine. Her house.
Beita.
Beita. Everyone say Beita.
Beita.
And this makes it feminine. So this is going to be third person feminine possessive. Singular. Beita. This is the pattern. Okay? This is the pattern. This is the common usage of pronomial suffixes. This is the way it works. Now, remember that for every rule, what? There's an exception. So there are going to be exceptions, but this is the common. This is the common way it works. So you take a noun, and this is the way it's going to work. Everybody understand? Okay, next week we're going to get into plurality, because that's going to change. It's going to change again. But it's not hard. Okay, so don't be afraid of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to go find Hebrew nouns and use your pronomial suffixes. Okay, write them down. Homework, write them down. Okay, did you see the pattern?
Yes.
There's a pattern with the male and the female. And the pattern is this. For the male, you're going to have this. Okay, beha, beto. So you see that right there? Everybody see this? You have the tzere underneath. You have this underneath for the male. Did you see that pattern? Here and here. Okay? For the female, what? You're going to have the vowel underneath. Okay? So you have the te. So now you have the vowel underneath. Or what? Beta. You have the vowel underneath. Okay, let's take 5 and we'll go into the trip.